What up, everybody? It's your boy Gaming Forte, back at it with another video. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you do all of those things along with the notification bell so you can know the next time one of my videos go live. Now, if you're a lover of the Xbox brand like I am, there was no denying that the only thing that kept Xbox afloat was Xbox Live Services and the fact that we had some of the better multiplats on our system that were playable enhanced on the Xbox One X over the last year. So we already know that exclusives are something that really drives people to actually want a certain console. That doesn't mean everybody is attached to just exclusive games, but for the most part, it's something that really tells the difference of two stories between two different platforms. When it comes to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, the narrative up to this point has always been that Xbox games are more centered around multiplayer gameplay. And when it comes to PlayStation games, it's been centered around the story building narrative that those games offer throughout all of the games that pretty much Sony offers through their exclusive lineup. But with the announcement that Sony is winding down development on the PS4 in preparation for the PS5, and knowing at E3 this year we only seen 4 of their really big games that are coming out over the next calendar year to 2 years, I started to see a lot of conversation around people wondering, well, what is the next thing Microsoft needs to do? What does Microsoft need to do to capture that massive fan base that Sony has accumulated over the last generation of the PS4? So one thing that came to mind was one difference that I always see in Microsoft and Sony is just the releasing of their games, the timing that it takes for them to actually rev up development, to actually push games out of the door. Sony does a great job of doing that throughout the calendar year, where Microsoft really hits hard in the beginning, but then it kind of fades over time throughout the rest of the generation. So the biggest thing I've seen with Microsoft is even if they do have games planned out throughout the years, if they have a slip up like they did in 2017 where one game got canceled and a bunch got delayed out, then you have a gaping hole in the middle of your generation that people are just not fond of. And even knowing those games did release except for Scalebound, the narrative still stays the same. Instead of those games releasing in 2017, they got pushed to 2018. So people were just reminded that Microsoft's first party lineup was even more drier just because that was basically over a course of 2 years versus just the 1 year if those games would have released. And then it might have been a different story because we do have some games that are releasing in 2018, but still not enough to actually make up the hunger that a lot of people are craving for these first party exclusives. Like I said earlier, everybody isn't into first party exclusives, but it doesn't hurt for your platform to have them. So one thing that I always prefer is Microsoft, when they come out this next generation, they're going to hit really hard. They're going to probably launch that new Halo game because it's going to probably be a cross-gen game. And honestly, there's not going to be generations for Xbox anymore. So you're going to just get this game playable on your X, your S, and on the new Xbox. But what's going to happen after that? Well, we already know we're going to have Gears of War coming out in 2019. Don't know exactly when, but we know it's going to come out. So that means the next Gears of War doesn't need to be fast-tracked to come out of the door within 2 years of development like they did this last one. They do another Gears of War game, so Gears of War 6, or if they do another spin-off, that should be a game that's probably going to be a year to 2 years after the fact, so we can have a little bit more gaps in between. And then the fact that they acquired all these new developers, 5 in total, those should be the ones that literally are sprinkled in between your big hitters like Halo, Forza, Gears. The biggest problem I think a lot of people had with Xbox this generation is the fact that that's all they really depended on. Halo, Forza, and Gears were the pillars of this community, the pillars of Xbox, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you don't have those games that supplement in between years, like Sony had with No Man's Sky, like they had with Hellblade, even though those games ended up not being exclusive all the way through, it was still a perception that those games were exclusive. So you could only get those games on those platforms during that time outside of getting them on PC. And if you're a console gamer, that's what's going to appeal to you more. So over the course of the next generation, I just want to see Microsoft spread themselves out a little bit more. Don't be relying on just Forza, Halo, and Gears. Use the studios that you just acquired to not only just make more first party properties, so new IPs, but also bring back existing ones. I just believe that Microsoft has this real issue with being risk averse when it comes to literally just putting their foot down and just sticking with the IPs that they create. If they are something that's making millions and millions of dollars, they don't feel like it's worth actually going through the paces of making a direct sequel for it. That's what I felt like happened with Quantum Break, and that's why I think Remedy is making a multiplayer game called Control. Pro because it's pretty much Quantum Break 2, but Microsoft didn't pick up the rights to actually want to have that game developed. So these are a few things that I just think Microsoft needs to do in the next generation to be even more successful than they were this one. I mean, anything would be more successful than this generation. Microsoft just needs to come out the gate swinging, and they need to not stop and let down anytime during the generation, because even with that 1 year lead that the 360 had over the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 3 caught up by the end of the generation just because Microsoft literally ceased making first party games for the Xbox 360 for like the last 2 years of the generation. That's something that shouldn't happen when it comes to the next gen, because the one thing we know about Sony, they get stronger as the generation goes on, and we don't want to have a situation where they have these great first party exclusives coming out and then we're sitting there holding the bag as 360 or Xbox One owners wondering where's our games at. But guys, the biggest thing I want to ask you is, what do you think about this? Do you feel like Microsoft needs to spread those games out a little bit more? Are you happy with the output of the games that they actually have coming out in the near future? What do you expect in the next generation when it comes to title releases and when they actually come out? Those are all things that I'm really interested to hear from you guys in the comment section. And guys, like I always say, thanks for watching this video. Sub to the channel if you haven't. Like this video if you like the content. It definitely helps out the channel a lot. Turn on those notifications, gonna let you know the next time one of my videos go live. It's your boy Gaming Forte. You guys have a great week, and I'm gonna talk to you in the next video. Peace.